everyone, this is Drinks Presents Wine Online 101, a 10-part series for wineries to tackle an entirely new approach to expanding their businesses online. I'm Brandon Amoroso, founder and president of Electriq, a retention as a service e-commerce agency, and today we're going to go over the importance of reviews and user-generated content in an online environment. I'm joined by Adena Merabi, senior agency partner at Okendo. Super excited to have you here. Thank you for doing this with us.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Super excited to chat with you.
So before we hop into like the thousands of use cases I'm already thinking about here for wineries and Okendo, can you just give everybody a brief introduction on what Okendo is as a platform?
Yeah, absolutely. So a little bit about Okendo. We are a ratings and reviews platform. We're built specifically for Shopify, and we help brands to maximize their conversion rate on site, as well as to increase their average order value and customer lifetime value through ratings and reviews.
Awesome. And I think there has been an evolution really in e-commerce when it comes to ratings and reviews. Like I think even like 3 years ago, it was just super basic. Here's some stars. Don't really even trust them either, because a lot of brands would just filter out anything that was less than a 4-star rating. And so every product you'd ever see is like 4.9 stars. Yeah. But now there's so much opportunity for like the user generated content capture, for starting to build out profiles around like product and demographic data. When like I think that's one of my favorite parts about Okendo, is being able to ask some of those questions so you can get more zero-party data. But what do you think like the biggest changes have been, and how have reviews evolved with e-commerce over the past year?
Yeah, that's a great question. I would say, to your point, typically people have thought of reviews as kind of a nice to have. And I think what we've really seen is a shift in e-commerce where having good reviews and ratings on your site is a must-have. And it's also another way to collect more data on your customer that you can then use to retarget them and build much more personalized marketing campaigns. One thing that I think is a huge misconception is that people think they need to hide their negative reviews and just moderate everything that's coming in and just publish all the 5-star reviews and everyone goes home and has a nice day. But really, at the end of the day, what we've seen is that customers now more than ever want transparency. They want you to really give them the true experience, and they want to be able to connect with you on a deeper level. And so what we've seen is typically the highest conversion rate happens around products that have between a 4.2 and a 4.5 star out of 5. And that's an average. So really, important to be as transparent as you can with your customers and give them that authentic experience.
I'm going to go write some negative reviews just to get it down to 4.2. I'll game it the other way.
I think that's a great idea. I think customers need to see, they need to see like, why do your other customers not like your products? And if it has nothing to do with them, it actually makes them more likely to purchase, because they're like, this doesn't, relate to me.
Well, I think for wine, even more so, because what I was thinking for like a winery in the review process, they could ask the customer, like, what's your typical flavor profile that you go for? Or are you more like a dry, semi-dry, or sweet drinker? And then if they reply sweet, and then the review is 1 star, this wine was dry, I didn't like it. Well, me as a potential purchaser, I prefer dry. So if I just filter the reviews by that, I can see, oh, okay, well, this person didn't like it, but actually I'm probably going to like it because of the fact that they did not like it.
Exactly.
If that made any sense.
Yes, no, exactly. And the great thing too is during the review collection process, you can actually get that information from your customers. They can tell you, you can ask them, do you like dry wine? Do you like red wine? Do you like sweeter wine? Do you like more earthy wines? Whatever it is, that you're trying to gather. And then, later down the line, when your team is doing some, marketing campaigns over email or SMS, you can choose to target specific audience segments and send them things like product recommendations, cross-sell, upsell opportunities based on what they've identified as their preference. So there's just so many layers to it. And so it's a great tool for wine brands.
Yeah, even just that one little data point, like dry wine, then you could take that if you're launching a new product and it happens to be dry, create a segment of everybody who responded in a review that they prefer dry wine, and then include that. Like, hey, we know you like dry wine because you left this review. We think you'll love this product because of that.
Yep,
And
exactly.
that's just one single example. Like there's so many other questions that you could ask. There's so many different ways that you could spin on it. And then building off of like the 8 episodes we've done before this, there's applications for taking like quiz data, which I think was maybe episode 4 or 5 or something, and then combining that with your Okendo data all in your email marketing platform, probably Klaviyo. And then you can say, oh, well, they answered this in the quiz and they answered this in the Okendo review. Now we have an even more targeted segment to send content to.
Exactly. Yep. And that's one thing too that brands should really look for, and especially wine brands as they're, exploring working with different Shopify apps and platforms in the space, is you want to make sure that all your platforms are integrated, work well together, and are doing what you need them to do, without, going the extra mile or effort to get it done. For example, I think, unanimously people can agree that having a Klaviyo integration is really important. Klaviyo is the most powerful ESP platform on the market. And so you want to be able to feed through data to Klaviyo. You want to be able to use their powerful design capabilities, especially when you're sending review request emails, and just so much more. So yeah, that would be another tip. Make sure all your platforms are integrated.
Yeah, that's the beauty of the Shopify ecosystem, I think. It's all out of the box, works together. So many wineries I've spoken with have had issues when it comes to getting really just even the one-to-one integration, like getting their e-commerce platform to connect to their email marketing platform, let alone getting them all to work well with one another, so that you get that unified like customer data profile that allows you to do any of this personalization and really cool stuff. And I think wine lends itself naturally to personalization because of how much variation there is across the board amongst the 13,000 wineries in the US, whether it's varietal or terroir or the family history, or it's like 1,000 different things that make it a very unique category.
Absolutely. And one more thing I'll mention too is I think with wine in particular, it's a very one-on-one experience. It's a very personal experience. Someone could absolutely hate something about one type of wine, right? And so you really want to make sure that you're personalizing your strategy, your marketing campaigns based on what your customers want. You want to understand who they are and send those one-on-one campaigns.
Yeah. As it building off of the customer side of things, like user generated content is something that I don't really see a lot of on any winery websites. And part of the beauty of the kind of review process is that you can get that both in the form of like just regular photo content, but also video. What are some of the ways that you've seen brands, either wine or otherwise, go about getting customers to actually give that UGC? And then in turn, after that, like how are they then leveraging it other than just sitting at the bottom of a product page in the reviews modal?
Yeah, great question. So one strategy that we've seen work really well for merchants is incentivizing your customers to leave a review. I have a fun stat. We found out that 73% of customers say that they'd leave a review if they were offered some sort of incentive. So whether that be discounts, coupons, loyalty points, you definitely want to make sure that you're giving your customers something in return for going that extra mile to leave a review. We have amazing integrations with different loyalty providers, such as Loyalty Lion or Smile, where you can actually exchange loyalty points or store credit for a review. Let's say you want to collect more UGC and you want to get that number up. You can choose to tier your incentives. So you can tier things like coupons or discounts and actually offer a higher amount for that UGC content versus a text review. So there are different strategies to do that. Another thing as well, to kind of tap into your network of customers and your loyal brand advocates is, you can ask customers who have left a 5-star review to refer a friend. That's another kind of way to incentivize, that referral process and that review process.
I think that your example with the loyalty points just shows, again, the beauty of your tools being integrated with one another, because then they all start to operate and function in unison versus being these like disparate systems that create a disjointed customer experience.
Yeah. Another thing as well, I would say another tip is make sure that you're optimized for mobile. That's another great way to get not only your review generation up, but also to get people to submit UGC, right? Because you're not taking content on your computer, you're taking content on your phone. And so you want to make sure that your review capture form itself is really easy to use. It looks good. You want to make sure it's displayed for mobile. You're minimizing clicks so that you're minimizing the risk of someone abandoning the review process. And you also want to make sure you have a single page review capture form. So just one page of scrolling. And then lastly, you want to make sure that that page is, easy to use and you can easily upload any kind of UGC.
How do you go about actually even getting somebody to that review process? And
great question. So one of the tips that we give merchants is to integrate your SMS platform with Okendo so that you can send review request messages via SMS. When you are going for that mobile first approach, you're definitely going to get a much higher engagement rate from your customers. And if you think about it, like, even if you're getting a text message and it's spam, even if it's like a 321 number or a short code or even a long code, whatever it is, you're going to open that message because you want to get rid of that notification. So if you are sending customers review requests via SMS, let's say, and you're offering a 10% discount for someone to leave a review in your message, like, hey, Brandon, thanks for purchasing. Leave a review for 10% off your next purchase. You click on that. If that review capture form is easy to use and is just a few clicks, a couple filters, minimizing the amount of text you make required from your customer, they're going to leave that review because they want that 10%. And then if at the bottom you say for an additional 15%, leave some UGC, they're already on their phones, right? If they have the product in front of them, they can just upload a photo. It's super easy. And I think having that mobile first approach really does work.
Yeah, and that UGC is really invaluable, especially in being able to take it and then leverage it across all of your emails and texts. And I think it'd be even cool if you got like UGC from somebody who also, like, I don't know, dry red wine. And then when you sent out a promotion to like your dry red wine group, you actually use that picture and we're like, oh, this person really liked this, like, look at how they used it. And I'm sure there's a lot of cool video content that could be done around like food and wine pairings and some of the things that have happened there. There's no shortage of applications.
No, I think coming from an agency background as well, something that I learned really quickly and something that I think continues to be like a huge point in the marketing space is that UGC type of content converts really well. especially on Facebook, Instagram, platforms that are content first. People
Mhm.
don't want to feel like they're being served an ad because they're going to scroll through it really quickly. They look at it, they're like, this is an ad, scroll. But if it looks like native content, they're going to stop scrolling, look at the ad, and you get a much higher conversion on those types of ads. So what's really great is all this UGC that you're collecting through Okendo. As a merchant, you have all rights to that content. You can download it, repurpose it, mash it up into an ad, and that's just free content for you.
Yeah. And in the targeting you're doing on the advertising platform, you could say, I don't know, I'm targeting 35 to 44-year-old women who prefer sweet white wine, making things up here. Then you could go and actually take the UGC that is that exact person and utilize that in your ad content, or utilize it in your email and text campaigns, really anything, so that the content is more relevant to the target audience that you're trying to get interested in that product.
Yep. And then in terms of email as well, especially because you guys are the best in email marketing, I'll mention that you can also use UGC and those star ratings in your and any of your email campaigns. So you can actually inject your star ratings and reviews into abandoned cart emails, product recommendation emails, upsell, cross-sell, and you can have it either as an aggregate, or you can have a flashing GIF of your latest 5-star reviews with that UGC, which
I'm a
is
sucker for GIFs or
me
GIFs,
too.
however the hell you say it. I love them.
Same. I think they're fun, and they also capture your attention really well because it's
Yeah.
moving so fast. They're really great.
I love it for SMS. So long as you don't make the file size too big, you can rotate through like 3 really strong UGC pictures, and then maybe have some CTA that shows up.
Absolutely.
I like that a lot.
Me too.
So
Me too.
I think I've covered almost all the main use cases here. I mean, just sort of to recap, we've got reviews are obviously important, but we're in 2022 now, and it's more than like just getting the 5 stars onto your website. There's the benefit of all the user generated content, both photo and video. There's all the 0-party data that you get on the actual customer. So like, what's your age? What do you typically prefer to drink? Any set of questions that you as a brand could ask that would help you inform not only your segmentation moving forward for email and SMS communications, but then help people when they're filtering reviews. And I can't remember where I saw it, but I think it's something like it's a 2x increase in conversion rate for visitors that interact with the review modal at the bottom, as opposed to those who don't. So that also helps increase conversion rate pretty substantially. And then sort of the next part to that would be capturing product attributes as well, which I don't see a ton of brands using, but I think is pretty unique. Like to have that slider, like you could say, oh, is this wine dry or sweet? And then have somebody slide it, and that will help a lot in terms of guiding the buying decision making process for net new visitors. But is there anything else that we like haven't covered that you think would be relevant for the winery listening to this who's trying to think about how they can leverage reviews more?
Yep, I think you covered it a little bit just now. We didn't talk much about product attributes. Those are really, really helpful because we know that a 5-star review with some text, right, that says amazing or tastes great or love it, that just means your customer loves your product, but it doesn't say why. It doesn't cover any of the meat and potatoes. As a merchant, you have the ability to display your unique value props and selling points without relying on the consumer to leave that in the body of the text. And all your customer has to do is just tell you, how is the taste? You could have on one side poor, you could have on the other side amazing. And all they have to do is tell you what they think. So I think that really makes it easy as well to just capture that product insight. And yeah, I mean, 99% of customers read product reviews before making a purchase. So definitely don't miss out on the opportunity to get feedback from your customers.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really exciting to see how wineries are able to use this newfound sort of review technology. And I don't even want to really call it review technology because it's more than that, but taking all that data to create these personalized experiences. But thank you so much for joining us. Just for everybody listening, in this session, we dove into reviews, how to get and aggregate user-generated content, how to get zero-party data through your review process, and then also how to take product attribute data out of that, and all the various things that you can do with that data in your communications with customers, targeting net new ones, and also how reviews can fit into the rest of your tech stack as well. But we can show you how to set this up and introduce you to partners like Adena. Just email us at wineries@drinks.com for a meeting. And until then, just stay tuned for our next session, and thanks for listening. And thanks for coming on again, Adena.
Thank you. This was so fun, and I hope it was helpful.
I'm gonna go celebrate with a drink.
I should do the same. I actually have a full stack wine bar, thanks to
Oh, wow.
Brandon, who has sent me a couple shipments of wine over the months. So I will have one tonight. Thank you.
Sounds like a plan. I expect some user-generated content to be coming back our way. So
Got it. 5-star review across the board.